What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's the first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You'll return to subscribe. As always, guys, welcome back. I don't know what it is, but I cannot do my intro as of late. We'll figure it out, though. We'll get there. Listen, guys, this morning, I'm going to tell you a story real quick. This morning, if you hadn't heard, my car was broken into and some thieves attempted to steal it. Around 5 o'clock this morning, it must have happened between 2 and 4 in the morning. I woke up, went downstairs to start my day, jump in the car, something touched my leg. I looked down, it's the steering column, like the plastic around it, hanging down, it touches my leg. I'm like, what is this? And then it all clicks in my head. Somebody was in this car trying to steal his car. Look to the right, passenger side window broken. Nevertheless, things happen. I called the police at 5:10. The police did not come until about 7:20, right? Wasn't no traffic, wasn't no nothing out there. So they tell me, oh, wait by the vehicle. A unit is en route. Okay. Now, this is my second time having to call the police. Well, third time I have to call the police out here in Houston. And this is the third time I had to wait forever. So I was already expecting it. So I'm sitting outside. We got like a heat wave in Houston right now. Even without the sun out, it's like being in the oven. And I'm out there sweating like hell. So anyway, the police would come, and shout out to Officer Fernandez, who was a cool cop. And I asked him, I said, hey man, I said, why it take y'all so long to get here? And he was like, you got to understand, if it's shift change, there are very few officers out here on patrol, and they're not going to respond to anything that is like a suit unless it's a super emergency. And he said, I was in, these briefings last 45 minutes to an hour. And then they go out and then they assign them cases according to what area they're going to be in and the different degree of height of danger that they are. Mine, filling out a complaint and paperwork, falls at the very bottom. So it is what it is. We may not like these things, but that's how it is. Now, story I'm talking about today, and I thought it was fitting to do this story, is citizens in Memphis are voicing their opinions about slow response times by the Memphis Police Department. And I'm going to play this video about, what they're talking about and concerns and complaints that they have. But I also want to say something. This is something, guys, that is going on in a lot of other cities, not just Memphis. Shout out to Memphis, by the way. And I'm going to explain what the officer said to me. And then, I have my own opinions too. And some of you guys do out there as well. And I want us to just talk about it for a little bit. Because, it is what it is. Go ahead and roll this clip and we'll come back.
Well, as crime continues across Memphis, officials and residents are concerned about the response time for Memphis police.
And this is after thousands of cars have already been reported stolen or broken into this year. Officers shared how long it takes to get crimes at City Council today.
Now, in the last update, MPD said it takes about 23 minutes on average. In some areas, response times are more than 30. Jay Shakur sat in on that update. So, Jay, why does it take MPD so long to get to certain calls?
Rudy, MPD says that it takes about 8 minutes to get to calls. Now, this, they say, is only to calls that they qualify as level 0 calls. Those calls, they say, are active threats or active crimes. One woman I spoke to says that it takes much, much longer than that.
2016 came along, everything started changing as far as MPD coming out. They don't come out.
911 emergency. Do you need police, fire, or ambulance?
Arlenia Rogers has lived in Frazier for more than a decade. She says calling the police in a time of need is no longer dependable.
If you call the police back in 2006 through up to 2016, they was here. And then we used to have officers that used to ride the neighborhood. They used to ride the neighborhood every 30 minutes to an hour.
But Rogers says those patrols don't happen anymore. She estimates wait times can now be as long as 40 minutes. Memphis Police Tuesday telling council a different story. They say officers respond to level 0 calls or calls about an active threat or danger on average within 8 minutes. Department leaders saying that's becoming harder to do.
The solution to call response time is more officers on the street. It's more officers available that respond to calls.
All of July of 2022, there were more than 20,000 calls. This year, in just the first 10 days of July, calls for help have outpaced last year's total, with MPD responding to nearly 23,000 calls so far this month. For Arlenia, a consistent physical police presence in underserved communities should be the department's focus.
You can hire over 100,000 cops, and if you don't have none riding around to see what's going on in the community, what are you hiring them for? Not just over in Germantown, not just in Cordova, not in Colleyville, but just come out to the Fraser, South Memphis areas.
Overall, police say they've seen a 16% increase in calls so far this year. That's from January to July, where we currently are. We reached out to MPD to get their response times, particularly on other calls that aren't considered active threats. We're still waiting to hear back. And down,
Guys, that was a video clip. And like I said before, this is something that's not just in the city of Memphis. I'm sure if you called and spoke to citizens in Atlanta, parts of Chicago, Philadelphia, Camden, New Jersey, other places, Los Angeles, they would have the same complaints. And I think it boils down to 4 things that I wanted to talk about. Now, even though I was upset earlier with the story I was telling you about, you know, my car being broken into and it messed my whole day up at work, I realized there are other things out there that are a priority other than myself, and I had to relax, because I mean, nobody knows what's going on in your city at any given time. And I just wanted to add that, you know, a lot of times when we have emergencies, there are emergencies to us, and you know, our daily life, which affects us the most, doesn't affect a lot of other people. We have to take that into consideration, that people, just because something's a major emergency to us, it's not a major emergency defined by the book for those that are supposed to come and aid when emergencies are available. I mean, when emergencies are out there. Now, I think it's come from 4 things. And I'm going to talk to you guys real quick. Now, I really want you guys input the comment and speak amongst yourselves if you agree or disagree. For me sitting here just thinking about it, it comes down to 4 things that I think the reason why this has happened. And I really want to concentrate on point 3 and point 4. Point 1 is I don't think there's enough officers. In fact, I know there's not enough officers. Me, for example, I couldn't be no cop. It's a hard job. You know, we all know what it has. I mean, what it entails and the patience you got to have and just dealing with folks, period. Like I said, there's not enough officers. Another thing is, point 2 I want to bring out is social class privilege. And when I say privilege, I'm not talking about color. I'm talking about financial privilege, meaning places that pay higher taxes, and then more of these nice upkept places, upstream places, certain parts of the city where people gather and they're like, you know, nice place where the cult should go, they get more protection. Higher tax properties, and where people pay higher taxes, they're going to get better priorities. And I started thinking about that a while ago when I noticed that every time we would get hurricanes, all of the poor areas, they would be without power longer than a lot of the richer areas. Or the richer areas would never have power failures during any of these natural disasters. Or if they did, the lights would come back on. And I didn't realize that what they were doing was they were cutting the transformers in certain grids of the city, where it would cost them more to get those turned back on and get more complaints from the city. So what they do, they cut those off so the transformers wouldn't burn up, where other parts of the city, the grids, they would leave them up. They were usually in poor parts of the city. And I was like, okay, I mean, it's a money move. People going to do what they do. Remember, a city still run like a business. Police department, they're public servants, but it's still ran like a business. They want to protect property and things like that, and they're going to still run it efficient that works best for the city. You know. Now, point 3. This is the thing that I want to really key in on. This one and the next one. The growing number 3 is the growing number of misdemeanor crimes. A lot of silly stuff, theft, a lot of stuff by younger kids. For example, breaking into my car today and trying to steal a car because it's a Kia or whatever. These things, you know, with crime rates, you know what I mean, with crime on the rise and crime, different type of crimes that entail a lot of paperwork and stuff like this, a lot of them will get less priority because they're happening so frequently. City officials, police themselves, 911 calls, with the redundancy of these crimes, you get desensitized to them. So they're not the emergencies they used to be, because now it's almost a common thing that this happens. When a police officer came here today, he said, this apartment complex, he said, you're the first one out of this complex. He said, and the complex across the street, one down the street, and 1 2 blocks over, they've been banging them. He said, you're the first one out of this one they tried to take. And he said, I'm surprised it took so long. He said, because, you know, we were saying it's only a matter of time before they hit this one over here. Now, what's crazy, guys, outside of my window, I mean, right outside where my car was parked, there's a camera set up. You know, just like the ones they had in Memphis, where they got the cameras with 2 cameras and the blue light and stuff. It's right there. It didn't deter the thieves at all. But it's ran by the office. So I go up there and try to get the stuff running, you know, get the information from them. They're like, oh, it takes 48 hours, even though they got the thing there. They can't give me the footage, which is normal. So the police officer had to come back around 4 o'clock. He called me, and he went and got the footage. So they'll find out, because, I mean, it's direct line of the camera if the cameras was on. That's another thing. But, yeah, a lot of these crimes that, you know, used to be like, man, what are you doing? They're starting to become normal. When something becomes normal, it becomes less of a priority. That's one of the things we got to consider. Another thing is this, the area of frequency. If I live in Northwest Houston, in Southwest Houston, if they have a string of carjackings, and that's where it's prevalent at, and it's prevalent off of a certain part or a certain small contained area, with carjackings or like just cars being stolen. Let's say cars being stolen. And it happens all the time. You think the police are going to respond like crazy every time it happens? They're not. Because it's redundancy. The thing is redundant. It's happening all the time. They're not thinking about it. Hey, look, all we're going to do is go over there and take a statement. Ain't nobody going to know nothing. Another thing is, a lot of times citizens are not, you know who do these crimes, and they're not cooperating with the police. And regardless of how you feel about that or not, this is something that holds us back, a lot of us. And it holds back the progress. Now, as far as, you know, the frequency, like I was getting back with area of frequency with these calls, regardless of what the crime is, they're gonna put it on a scale of 10 to 0, meaning 10 meaning you got to get there fast. Something like an example of a 10 would be a mass shooting, a bank robbery, especially a bank robbery. They'll come en masse. They'll come out the ground before you can get out the bank. Because that's like a level 10. Something like a level 1 is like a kid's fight. Somebody got smacked and they call the police. Oh, we had a fight in the house. The in-laws were fighting. Somebody got pushed down. That's like, they might not even come. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, I know people out here that call the police, and the police never even came. The another thing is, when the police call you, I don't know if this is in you guys' city. A lot of times, when the police come, they give you one of these. It's like a business card with the officer's name and your case number on it. And they'll have you do the police work. Well, if you see the guy again, call us and let us know. Like, hey, he's right over there. Just let us know. And it's like, you know, I just wanted to say, you know, those are the 4 things. And I probably have missed some. I'm sure I did. And if you guys do me a favor, leave them in the comment section if I missed something up here. And I know I did. In the back of my mind, I could tell I missed something. But those are the 4 things that come to my mind right now. Not enough officers, social class, more affluential neighborhoods with higher property taxes going to get higher police priority. Third one is growing number of misdemeanor crimes and the redundancy of it. It takes away the urgency of getting it done and the area of frequency in which certain crimes are being done. Meaning the area is known for certain crimes, so it ain't no rush to go over there. No matter if we go over there or not, our prisons ain't gonna do that. Tomorrow, as soon as we leave, they're gonna do it again. It's a mindset. I mean, what say you, man? Leave me a comment, guys. I definitely want to hear from you this. I mean, but city of Memphis, man, I feel your pain. Y'all not the only ones going through that. Every major city can say the same thing, most likely. In fact, I don't know anybody that says the police respond up on time, except Bellaire Police in Bellaire, Texas. But, it's a small place, so they ain't really got that much ground to cover. But as always, I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. Thank you for spending your evening with me. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.